Hi everyone, it's Kate from Generate Magic. So, I want to talk about intuition and developing your intuition. Now, I want to emphasize the word develop because, like anything, it is a skill, even if it seems mysterious and elusive. This is not a definitive how to guide because everyone is unique, especially when it comes to something like intuition. But I'm going to share my story, which you can learn from. And I think you'll find it inspiring because, as you'll see, I am not a fifth generation shaman. I was not giving tarot readings at the age of 5. So if I can do it, you can do it too. Last January, I started a training program in intuitive energy reading with Daniel Hahnemann. I've been following Daniel's Spiritual Rockstar podcast for a while, so that's how I learned about the program, and I just felt intuitively guided to do it. So, intuitive energy reading involves tuning into the person's energy field and chakras and picking up information about their desires and goals and unique gifts that they can tap into, as well as any blockages that could be slowing their progress. And it's not fortune telling, I do want to emphasize that, but I do like to have the person ask me a question at the beginning of the reading because it does help me to focus better. I generally do best with big picture questions regarding their purpose or mission, however that's showing up currently, because obviously this can change a lot over the course of a lifetime. Or it can also be regarding patterns showing up in their life or their relationships. But I don't tend to do as well with yes or no questions, like, will he marry me? So anyway, when I started the training program, I thought we would be given a manual, and if I just followed the steps, it would flip the switch. And all of a sudden, we would be given these crazy psychic downloads and speaking in tongues, and everyone would just be blown away by my abilities. Well, needless to say, it wasn't quite like that. We were given some general guidelines, but when I would follow the steps, it's like I was knocking at the door and nobody was home. I wouldn't see anything or feel anything, and I was like, well, what the hell kind of process is this? Like, I wanted to tell Daniel I want my money back. But eventually I realized, so I'm a writer to give you some context. So if I'm given a blank page, or if you're an artist, it could be a blank canvas, the book or the painting, it doesn't just create itself, like you still have to do something. So I would tune in and close my eyes, and eventually I would see a light pattern, and it would still be pretty vague. So then it would be up to me to interpret the pattern, kind of like one of those ink blot tests. So then I would share my observations with the person, and as I spoke, more messages would start to come through. Kind of like when you're an artist and you're getting into that flow state. So it would be kind of like a dance where there would be a period where I would be just pausing and listening, and then I would be dancing with the spirit, or whoever is giving the messages and giving them the shape and the form. So this is not to say that it was all downhill from there. My first few practice sessions were very shaky, and I got some feedback that further shook my confidence. So nothing against the people giving the feedback, they were just giving their honest opinion. And one thing I've also realized since then is that people do have these defense mechanisms, especially if you're telling them information that maybe they don't want to hear. But at the time, I took it really personally. So these readings just had this really heavy energy. I felt really tense, like I had to perform, and I didn't want to let anybody down. And I would also be kind of vague in my readings, just so I wouldn't potentially give them any wrong information. So one day I had 3 different people schedule me for back-to-back energy readings, and I was really dreading it. I was like, oh man, this is really going to suck. So beforehand, I set an intention that I was going to have fun and not have any expectations. And it worked. Not only did the experience feel lighter and more enjoyable, but I was actually able to tune in and access my intuition much better. because I think intuition, it works better when you're in a relaxed state. So I started getting better and better feedback, which in turn boosted my confidence. So one woman I really had a strong connection with already, partly because she's also a writer. So I did a session with her, and she was just giving me all this praise, telling me how validating it was and how healing it was, and how when I was reading her energy, it was like a massage. And so I was just like, wow. And not to brag on myself, but this just shows you when one person has confidence in you, it can really be powerful. So I just felt more and more confident and more relaxed in my sessions. I was getting more and more precise information and trusting myself more. And recently I had an experience where I was giving a reading to a woman who's also a coach like me. And during the initial tuning in process, where normally it would be really, I would do it really quickly because I didn't want to keep the person waiting. But this time I gave it a little bit more time to see what visions would unfold. And so I got this image that seemed so silly and so out there that I almost didn't share it, but I did. And it was somebody, it looked like they were cleaning windows, like with Windex. And so the way that I interpreted it was, well, maybe she's gaining more clarity in her life. And so after I shared it with her, she told me that she has this process with her coaching clients where she has them metaphorically apply Windex to their perspectives in order to gain more clarity. And so I was just like, wow, that's super cool. And I also had a message with her that, again, I almost didn't share. I almost dismissed it. In this case, because it seemed like a projection, because I was having a very similar experience. And it was around making these conversions from free client sessions to paid sessions. But I was like, no, she really needs to hear this. So the message was that she needs to step into her power more. And instead of going into these sales conversations from a place of guilt, like, oh, I'm being a manipulative salesperson, instead just thinking about all the amazing benefits that people would get from her program and from working with her. And it's true, she does have a really awesome program. So then a week later, she actually shared with me that she had got 2 paid coaching clients. So now I need to take her advice. So here are the main takeaways for developing your intuition. So first of all, be relaxed and just have fun with it. Not only is it more enjoyable for yourself and for the clients, but also it will allow more information to come through. And then second, trust the process and trust yourself. Give those visions time to unfold. So unless you're working for one of those psychic hotlines, your clients aren't going to be charged by the minute. And you're at this stage in the game, you're probably not working for one of those hotlines anyway, at least until you're further along in your development. And finally, don't dismiss any visions or messages that you get as too out there or as a projection. So I want to say something too about projections. And so we're making these connections with these people for a reason. And I found that every single person that I worked with, and really just every single person that I've just gotten to know, like on a deeper level, like we could have completely different personalities or backgrounds or life experiences, but there's always some commonality that we share. And when you tap into those connection points, it can be very powerful. It can be very validating for your clients. And also because even if you do have that commonality, your perspective is not going to be identical to their perspective. So it can help them to see it from a new angle, and that in turn can help to initiate that transformation. So it really is a beautiful thing. So I wish you all the best on your intuitive journey. And I want to encourage you to push through even when it seems shaky or you think, I'm never going to be any good at this. Because once you push through those moments, trust me, it's very rewarding. It's rewarding for yourself and also for the people that you work with. Even if you don't want to do this for a living, just doing it for your friends or your family can be very powerful. And one more thing, I am considering doing regular videos with channeled messages or downloads that I'm getting. So if there's any questions that you would like me to tune into, please write them in the comments and I will consult my pyramid. So not a crystal ball, a pyramid. So I want to say something about that as well, because I think these, I guess you can call them intuitive gifts. Sometimes they can be used for the wrong reasons, like the willed power over other people. And at the same time, those of us who are asking the questions can start to see the individual that's giving the answers as being all powerful, like their word is the word of God. I know because I've been there myself. But I heard it put really well the other day that all of these intuitive tools, whether it's channeling or tarot or energy reading, which is primarily what I do, that they're really meant to guide us to our own intuition. So if you consult with a reader and something deeply resonates, not just in terms of your day-to-day reality, but on a soul level, then it could be a powerful confirmation of your own intuition, what you know deep down inside. It's just that sometimes our mind can play games with us, and so we start to spiral and get into negativity and doubt ourselves. But a good reader who genuinely cares about helping you can help to redirect you and remind you of just how powerful you really are. And at the end of the day, though, you get to decide what's true and what's not true for you and what path is right for you. You are the boss of your life. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day.